Hi all, welcome back to my blog again. So today let's talk about a really useful feature I just discovered a few days ago. So in Jinja 2, I've been always using the built-in filters. Like if I want to change all the letters to capital letters or lowercase or capitalize, whatever, I never knew I can actually create my own custom filters. So for example, so let's say you have this specific use case. So you have a router and then you have multiple customers come and pair with you using BGP. So my typical approach before I realized I can use custom filters is to kind of define everything in a variable file. So I would say, okay, this is the interface the customer is going to connect. So this is their BGP AS number, and this is a description, and this is the point-to-point subnet I'm going to use. So usually I would have a variable called, let's say, my side, and then I will say 10.10.10.1, and then let's say customer side, then I will put the customer side IP 10.10.10.2. Because on Jinja 2 without custom filters I can't really say which IP is going to be on my side. So when I create my template, because on the template I have to specify what's the IP I'm going to be using on my side, and then under the BGP config I also need to tell Jinja 2 what's the IP is going to be on the neighbor side. So now with using the custom filters, I created these three functions. So on this function, if I pass a subnet, it will return the first available IP. And then if I pass the same subnet to the different function, get last IP, it will return the last available IP. And then also if I pass this subnet again, it will return just the prefix length. So just to show you here quickly, so I'm using IPython shell or terminal. So I'm importing the IP network and IP address classes from this net address module. So you just need to do pip install net address if you want to install it. So let's say I create a network object 10.10.10.0/30, and then I will pass this to the IP network, and I say net object, and then I can say, okay, I want to get the first IP. So what you are getting here is an integer value of this IP. So if I need to see the actual IP address format, I need to pass this into the IP address. And then if I do this now I get the first IP, but the problem is I need the first available IP. So that's why I do +1, and then so what you are getting at the moment is not really a string, it's actually the IP address object. So if I do type you can see this is an IP address object. So that's why I'm kind of converting this into a string, and then I'm getting the first IP. So I just need to do the same for the last IP and then prefix length. So I created these three different functions. So you pass the subnet and it will give you the first IP, last IP, and the prefix length. And then once you define those three functions, you need to tell Jinja to use this function as a filter. So here I'm creating this Jinja 2 environment, and then I'm using these filters, and then say, so the name of the filter is going to be first IP. So this can be anything, which is equal to the name of the function. So every time I pass something into this function, I can use that on the template. So here you can see I have a simple for loop inside my Jinja 2 template. So what I'm saying is, okay, go to these interfaces and then do a for loop, and then pick each of these interface on each iteration, and then the name of the interface is going to be the ETH1, and then description, and then here I'm saying take the interface.point to point, which is going to be the subnet, and then I'm passing through that filter first IP, and then I will end up with 10.10.10.1, and then I also need to pass the subnet mask. So depending on which vendor you are using, so if you use Cisco, you have to pass 255.255.255.0, then you might need to use a different method. Here, let's say I'm using Arista, so you have to pass this /30. So you have a slash, and then I'm calling this CIDR function I created. So get CIDR is kind of getting mapped to this CIDR filter. So here I will have the first available IP, and then if I go to the router BGP 5000, just an example, here for the neighbor I'm going to be using the last IP. So yeah, it does work really well. So if you want to learn more about how this function works, feel free to check out my blog post on it. So thank you.